start scaling it in certain directions here. So let me just go ahead and scale it in the X, just kind of make it a little bit thinner like that. Okay. At least get it close, and then rotate it up a little bit. Move it, just trying to get it to line up to the bottom of the pants there. And then once we have that, we can go ahead and move on with getting the rest of the shape here. Okay. All right, so now what we'll do is we'll hold down Control, right click, and we're going to go to Swift Loop. And I'm going to come in, I'm going to add some loops around the major points in the leg. Let's go to our front view, like right across the knee. We'll need that. Now you'll notice that that loop that created it's got this curved shape to it. I really don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and hold down Control and go back to my Swift Loop tool. Let's hold down Control and then select that loop. Actually, which one is it? Is it Control Shift? Let's see, trying to hold down Control, select that loop, and then Control Alt and drag that down. So notice what it did here. What it's done is I've selected that loop, and then holding down Control Alt and then left clicking and dragging that loop. If I drag it down closer to this one that's at the bottom that is straight across, it's going to take its shape. But watch, if I hold down Control Alt and I move it up toward this loop, it's going to start taking its shape. See that? So what I do is I go ahead and I move it close to this one above where I want it to end, and then I drag it back down holding down Control Alt and put it right where I want it. So now I've got this nice straight edge right across the knee. Now all I have to do at this point is go ahead and scale it. So if I grab my scale tool, scale it in all three directions, I can get the width that I need on that. And then I can move it into position. Now we're just trying to get an approximate position on this, and then we'll start shaping this out. Now we'll also need to make sure that that edge conforms to the flow of the model. So it needs to be rotated forward to where it's kind of at an angle, the same angle that that knee is beginning to turn. So just like that. Scale it down a little bit in both directions, or all three directions. Looks like I changed my scale tool by accident. Let's go ahead and use the uniform scale. And there we go. Okay. So now let's go ahead and add another loop. So Control right click, Swift Loop, put it right here about the calf, and it gives us a nice shape there. So I'm going to go ahead and scale this up. Scale that up there, and then we'll grab our move tool, and we'll get that positioned right along that calf there. And let's go ahead and grab our rotation tool, and we'll just try to follow along with the flow of the leg. And we're just trying to get the major points at this point right now. So you can see how that's starting to shape up now. Control right click, let's go to Swift Loop, and I'm going to add a loop right in here. Grab your scale tool, scale that down in all three directions, and then move that to where it's centered up over the leg. Now we're not going to be able to get all of the wrinkles or anything like that at this point, but we're going to try our very hardest to get this to shape to the leg for the most part. Then we'll come in and we'll reshape it to where it gets fully around that leg. Control right click, let's add another loop right above the knee. So right about here. Grab our move tool, pull that forward. And that one's actually pretty close. We don't really have to go too far with that one. So just trying to move that around, get the best space possible. And then one more, Control right click, Swift Loop, right up here around the top of the leg. Grab your scale tool and scale that up. Move that into position. as needed, and there we go. Okay, so we've got the basic shape of the pant leg. Now all we need to do is come in, maybe add a few more segments here and there. So we'll control right click, go into our Swift Loop. You can hold down Shift and go right in between all of those and just start adding some segments just to kind of help out with the overall shape. Now watch some of those, because like the one here at the bottom, it didn't really shape the way I thought it should holding down Shift. So let me just pull it back